Okay, go quickly. Ah!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nacho Cheese.
And I'm Unction.
We are a little flustered as our players started the game a little bit before we were ready, but that's okay, because now we're streaming, and now you guys are able to watch. As we, Alright, some entertainment for you guys to start out this game. As I mentioned, I am Nacho Cheese. My co-caster is Unctious, and we are casting a game between Pichu, the Teal Protoss, and SpunXtain, the Yellow Terran.
SpunXtain is so ridiculous. Alright, so getting into this match, in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Yellow Terran spawning, and that's SpunXtain, and in the upper right-hand corner, our Blue Protoss. Not that it really matters which is spawning where, given this map is entirely symmetrical. Both players, nobody has the advantage. As we keep stating over and over again, this is an MLG map, which means that we have these lovely little supply depots down in front of the ramps of each base to ward off any wall-ins that might come their way. Now, in the last couple games, the last game really, we saw some exemplary play coming from our Protoss player, who was able to just take advantage of all of the blunders of our Terran player, right? Our Protoss won last time, right? Pichu, our Diamond player, overtook this Masters player in just a very exciting match. It kind of went back and forth. A nuke almost went down, but at the last minute, the ghost that was taking care of the nuke ran out of energy and was unable to stay cloaked, so he did get killed. And if that nuke had went down, we might have seen an entirely different match. A couple of his production facilities might have gone down, and would have put a huge hiccup in the reinforcements of our Protoss player.
So we are seeing a little bit of play up at the top of the Terran space. Pichu sort of ran a probe up along the top of the base, which made Spunks a little suspicious. So he ran his own SCV over there just to check, make sure there weren't any cannon rushes happening or proxy gates or anything crazy like that, and indeed there weren't, so he was able to chase that out of there. And Pichu going for a very annoying gas steal. Now, this is a lot more popular in Zerg versus Terran or Zerg versus Protoss games, as the extractor only costs 25 minerals as opposed to the assimilator, which costs a grand total of 75 minerals. He is going to let that finish. That's just going to be all kinds of annoying for Spunks, as he is now limited to just one gas for the foreseeable future. He is now taking 2 of his harvesters off gas after he got just enough for, it looks like, a tech lab, and we will have to see what he does with this slow trickle of gas, whether he researches concussive shells to be on the defensive, or whether he goes a little more offensive with Stimpak and combat shields. Back up at the Protoss base, another completely standard opening. He does have a little early second assimilator, but that's, not indicative of anything too crazy. He is going to be moving out with his Zealot and Stalker and trying to do a little bit of harass, and he may actually catch Spunks a little bit off guard, as he does have he only has 3 Marines, and he's throwing down an expansion command center as opposed to getting out any Marauders or any other units. So we'll have to keep watching and see what's happening here.
Now, like you said, this command center is going down right now, but all the Marines are coming forward to take care of these take care of these Protoss units, and I believe they will be able to. 1 or 2 Marines might go down, but these Marines will now stop. All micro had stopped at that point. That Zealot was able to take out 1 Marine, now microing more properly, and that Stalker needed to get out of there, but I think that was actually in the Protoss player's favor. It was such an early push that there were very few Marines down, and if they weren't macroed properly, then they were just going to die, and that's exactly what happened. And still, this assimilator coming from the Protoss player just went down, and that means that finally we're going to be able to see something, some kind of another gas go down if he wants it. But with all these barracks coming down, we might just see some extremely heavy Marine play, and that at this point is exactly what we're seeing, because we do know that Stimpak is on the way, which, like you said, means that our Terran player is moving towards a more offensive style.
Although with his bunker at the front, that's more of a defensive play, so Spunx seems a little confused as to what he wants to do, and we'll have to keep a close eye on him. Meanwhile, our Protoss player has enough for an expansion, and I think he wants to get that expansion, but instead he is using a proxy pylon, which he was able to sneak in with that small amount of harassment, and he's warping in a good amount of units, and he's going to be moving up to the bottom of the ramp and gearing up for a big push. Guardian Shield going down, that'll help a lot against those Marines, but this bunker doing a lot of damage, able to stim inside the bunker, and he will scare that force away as our Protoss is forced to back off a little bit, warping in a couple more units, but I don't know if he wants to continue with this. He is throwing down his Nexus at his natural, so we will be getting an economic advantage, and we'll have to see what happens with this contain that is going on.
The Protoss force is moving forward. The Zealots are going to try to get that bunker down, but I don't think it's going to be possible. These Marines are going to be able to stave off any more reinforcements happening right now. I'm surprised we don't see more SUVs coming down. Half of the Marines get trapped on the ramp by a force field, going to be able to pick up a small force that came forward. So those Marines definitely need to get back, and more Marines coming as reinforcement. Now, our Protoss player is reinforcing with 2 sentries and a stalker. He really wants to use those force fields as much as possible, and Guardian Shield is great when it comes to dealing with Marines, cutting down on the damage that's being dealt by those ranged units. Now, I'm surprised we don't see more SCVs coming off the line to take care of this bunker. It would force the Protoss player to... Oh, looks like we're getting a little lag. It would force the Protoss player to waste force fields on making sure that the...
Well, it looks like we are getting some lag from my co-caster, Unctious, so I may be casting solo for the rest of this. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay of the game, and hopefully Unctious is okay. Hopefully there are no natural disasters happening at his house, and that it's simply a loss of internet. And so we'll be about 20 seconds, bit of a delay in this game. Nice banter going on between our 2 players, as the Mothership Rush is completely ruined. He will not be able to get up that Mothership in time, so I'm going to kick Unctious. Unctious is out of here. I am solo casting this game, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when you do it live. So, Pichu, doing just what Unctious was saying he should do, throwing down a force field and really containing Spunx. However, Spunx does have a whole lot of gateways and a Ghost Academy going down, so he will be able to pump out a lot of Marines. As even off one base, when you have some mules out, which he does have 2 orbital commands pumping out mules, you can get a lot of minerals very quickly, calling down more mules. And so Marines, I don't know if you knew this, they only cost minerals. It's just 50 minerals. So he probably will be able to pump out Marines out of all 8 of these barracks, and he is quickly going to overwhelm this Protoss force. At the same time, though, our Protoss player has an extra base over the Terran player, and about equal amount of probes split between those 2 bases, which means his income is going to be very close, if not greater than his Terran player's income. Some proxy pylons being hidden around the map for Pichu. This will allow him to continue to harass even after this contain is broken, which honestly, it should be pretty soon. Another probe moving out to take the Zelnaga towers and just make sure that nothing funny is going on, as the Terran player could be going for some sort of quick medevac play and dropping all over the place. So we just see him getting a ridiculous amount of SCVs, 40 SCVs on the field now for the Terran player, all going after those minerals, so that is oversaturated. A lot of those not doing any good, but that is going to mean that he can saturate his natural and his third very quickly if he breaks his contain. That is so many Marines, 52 Marines and 1 Ghost out on the field, as opposed to only 6 Stalkers, 5 Sentries, and a Colossus, which I don't believe is even up at the front line. Yep, here it is, right next to the natural. and we only see 5 gateways. So this force could be very easily overwhelmed if Pichu misses a force field. Fortunately, he is playing very well, getting a couple free kills against those Marines, dropping a couple force fields, but wisely deciding to back off. And he's got to be in panic mode now, as he honestly just does not have the forces to be able to take care of this, especially if this Ghost is able to get off a good EMP or snipe some of those units. Things will go very bad very quickly for the Protoss player. Now he is throwing down another robotics facility and a Twilight Council. Not sure I agree with him teching up now, as he really needs units. He has no Zealots. If we take a look at the unit composition, he just worked in 2 Zealots, and he's still on the 6 Stalker, 5 Sentry force with just a couple Colossi. And now Spunks is going to realize that he has the superior force. He can pretty much just A-move into this force. And Pichu, fortunately, able to catch this a little off guard, cutting off a good amount of the Marines and able to clean them up. So that just evened this fight up pretty well. However, there is still a sizable amount of Marines and a couple Ghosts, 3 Ghosts now, out on the field, which can be very dangerous with those EMPs. We didn't see any EMPs go down, which means these Ghosts still should have a good amount of energy, enough for 3 EMPs. Pichu, though, will be feeling very confident and will push this army away. Unfortunately, his sentries are too slow to be able to trap any of these units. He's only going to get a couple free kills against the Marines. But now the SCV's coming off the line and attacking. Spunks going all in with this Marine Ghost SCV force. He is able to do a lot of damage against all those Stalkers. Some of the sentries at the back of the line now getting taken out. But great micro on this Colossus, able to do a lot of damage against the Marines. However, it's not enough. One Colossus is going down, another Colossus is going down, and now just so much damage being done. And finally, an EMP doing lots of damage to the shields of this Colossus, but Spunks is chasing the wrong Colossus. He could have taken this one out. It has 29 kills, 31 kills now on this Colossus. 32, it is an Executor Colossus. This one over here is also an Executor Colossus, 26 kills, and that attack, I have to say, was pretty bungled by Spunks. He had superior forces and just was not able to finish up with that. So he is going to be pulling back, getting his second natural base up, but if we look at the units count, he only has 11 SCVs after he took so many off the line. He's barely mining at either of his 2 bases, and meanwhile Pichu, feeling very confident as he should, is gearing up to take the gold expansion in the middle of the map. He's pushing forward with his force. He's got 7 Stalkers, 4 Colossi, and 3 Zealots against only 15 Marines and just a couple Marauders. Now, a lot more Marauders just came out of the field, but they are way back in the main, so they're not able to reinforce, and Spunks has to GG out, which means Pichu has taken the series 2-0. He sweeps it. That was a very solid play by Pichu. Unfortunately, just one too many blunders by our Yellow Terran Spunks. Well played, though. Very well played by both players. We will be moving on to the quarterfinals. My co-caster, if he has internet again, is Unctious, and I am Nacho Cheese, and we will see you in a few minutes.